Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, the Arsenal edition. This is your host, Dean, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Mitch. What's going on, man?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Gabby, are you a little less moody than Mitch is?
I left here with something. I left with a Tommy and a Kai goal, so yeah.
You know what? See, that's what I'm talking about. Silver linings, baby. Silver linings, baby. So if you're listening to this, you obviously know that Arsenal did not win the Premier League at the end of the season. That went to 115 Charges FC. However,
Sack him! Sack that ball fraud! I can't wait for him to leave.
however, I mean, we're not going to do the whole future look ahead thing right now because we did play a game against a team, Everton, managed by Son Dyche, a man with a very gravelly voice that deserves the respect of having a pod devoted to him, like the other 37 we've done this season, devoted to the various teams we've played. So we're going to do our best to sort of keep it micro as opposed to macro. And there will be a season review later this week. I don't know exactly when it drops, but we hope to have a guest on that pod. Details later. But you can look forward to that. But for now, let's talk about Everton. They showed up to the Emirates on a day when the general mood seems to be really good among Arsenal fans. The atmosphere looked good from what I could see on TV over here in the States. Coach actually went to a bar to watch this, which is crazy because he doesn't drink. So I don't really know what the fuck the point of that was. Like, I get when he goes to the stadium, but he doesn't drink, so I don't. But I'll deal with him later. Mitch, how were you feeling going into the day? Was it more hopeful, or were you already despondent like I was?
I can't help but be like a bit hopeful. Like at the Spurs game kind of broke me a little bit against City, because I felt like that was probably the best chance that they had of dropping points. But I was still like going into today with hope. Not enough hope for me to like leave my house and go somewhere because I understand where coach is coming from. Because if we did somehow win the league, celebrating with a bunch of Arsenal fans would have been like the ideal scenario. But I didn't feel like taking the train downtown to go to the Arsenal bar and watch us not win the league. So I had enough hope that I was still going to wake up at 9 a.m. with a slight hangover and be ready to go. But not enough for I was going to leave my house.
Fair enough. Gabby, you pointed to the silver linings from the game already. How were you feeling before the game?
I accepted that we weren't going to win the league a couple weeks ago, so I was just kind of like, just get me another win, and like let's finish the season off on a high, and we go again. That's it. And then they pissed me off during this game a little bit.
This is the life of a football fan. I don't think we've ever truly been happy since we all made this choice, and it's not really about Arsenal. It's just about sports. They fucking suck, man. Why do we do this? Why do we do this? We can end this now. Fuck it, I'm done. So yeah, the atmosphere looked good, and I have to give Arsenal fans credit for that because there have been games like, for instance, the Villa away game. Gabby, you were on here with me that day, and we both had to sit here and essentially criticize people who paid for tickets, even though we didn't want to do it because Villa scored their first goal in that game, and everyone just fucking left. And I fucking hated it. And today I can't really begrudge the crowd for any of their reactions at any stage during the game. But let's get into the lineup. Saka finally took a seat. He only really takes a seat when he's dead. We heard that it was a muscle issue. Mitch, do you think he was carrying that for a couple of weeks maybe?
Yeah, I bet he's been carrying that for months at this point. Mm-hmm. And it's just like finally come to a head of like, all right, well, it's the last game of the season. And he couldn't go. I guarantee you that it was the club doctor was like, you are not playing today, because I'm sure that if it was up to him, he was on the field.
Yeah, that's fair. Gabby, do you think this was like a stock rising day for Saka? You know, because generally when he's not there, I mean, we're a worse team when he's not there by default, but was it very obvious to you today?
It's always obvious when he's not there. It's so obvious to me when like the way that we play when he's not available is it's not like terrible, but it's just he has so much quality that you just notice that he's missing. You just do. It's not like, I was about to be petty, but I was gonna say it's not like when Foden's missing for City and they don't really notice. But anyway, he's just so good. He's just so good. Like the way that defenses set up for him, the way that he plays with the ball at his feet, like him and Odegaard are almost 100% of our creativity in that team. And it's just, when I saw that he wasn't available, I was like, you know what? Now I can really be at peace. Like, even the little inklings of hope that was gone is gone. It's just like, fair. Because he's going to be playing all of Euros. Like, and all I want them to do is just rest over the summer. He needs a rest. Like Mitch said, he's probably been carrying that for months. Genuinely.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, I hope Gareth Southgate behaves like the English media and decides to play Foden or Palmer in his place. Like,
I hope so. I would love for Foden to play the whole entire Euros.
like, why not? I mean, he's better, right? He's a player of the season. He should totally play.
Carry them to a win then.
Yeah, let's see how that works out for England. Let's see exactly how that works out for them. Since everyone is so confident that everybody's better than Saka, like, honestly, the list of motherfuckers I've seen that are supposedly better than Saka, it's obscene. Like,
United fans were saying Diallo is better than him last week.
Yeah, that was the one I was about to mention. But you know the good thing about Diallo? The good thing about Diallo finally making that list is that finally one of the people better than Saka is black. So I'm pleased about that. Finally, because for a while I was wondering, are you guys being serious? Is this just a racismo thing? Like, because this shit is getting like, because these motherfuckers are not as good as him. It's not even a real debate, and I'm not going to entertain it moving further. That said, Saka had a replacement in the lineup. It was one of our faves who has not had the best of seasons, Gabriel Martinelli. Mitch, I thought he was great. What did you think?
I thought he was our best player today. He was phenomenal. And I think that it's a performance that I think can fill us with a lot of confidence that on days that Saka can't play, we have someone that can fill in on the right and do well there. And then we have enough options on the left wing where it's like, I mean, obviously Martinelli hasn't been starting over the last few months. But like typically, I think on like standard form, he is our starting left winger. And it does not hurt us at all to move him over to the right. He had a really good game today. I think there were still like moments here or there where it's like, oh yeah, like him and Odegaard aren't used to playing next to each other kind of thing, and like not on like the same like Ben White, Odegaard, and Saka when they're playing together are all just like fully know where the other's gonna be. That they're all on the same page all the time, and there was a few moments here or there where it's like very clear. It's like, yeah, you're not really used to these kind of moments. But Martinelli was really, really good. I think he was unlucky not to get a goal because he had a lot of really good chances for himself. He created good chances. I loved what I saw from Martinelli, which is, like you said, it's been a tough season. So it's great that he ended on high at least.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, Gabby, a couple weeks ago, I asked you if you thought Martinelli would have a moment, towards the end of the season where he like contributes to maybe a title win, which obviously hasn't happened. But based on this performance today, are you as hopeful as Mitch is moving forward?
I watched the game with different eyes. Martinelli was frustrating for me. This was one of his better performances than the few that than the rest of the season, basically. But that's not saying much because he hasn't been good this season. Like, I'm just be real with you. He hasn't been good to me. He has not been good this season. But also I say that because my expectations for him are very high. After what he did last season, my expectations are very high. I don't expect him to be like that every season, but I expect him to be better than he was this season. And I also think this performance shows that he can be better. He should have been playing like this game all season, even if he wasn't scoring goals. If he was playing like this all season, we would have been a better team.
That's fair.
So it was just frustrating. It was frustrating to watch him. He should have had a goal for sure. He definitely should have had an assist. He was cooking Ashley. I can't lie. There was moments where he actually cooked him. But yeah, it's just frustrating that it just happened to come at the last game of the season on a wing that he doesn't normally play on. And Saka was out. It was kind of like a too little, too late type of deal. Like, but yeah, I have no doubt in my mind. I'll say something harsh. How about when I think about Martinelli last season and in this season, he is somebody that I do not think is untouchable. He's not somebody that I don't think that we can upgrade upon. Like, there are better wingers than Martinelli. Absolutely. However, I expect him to be back to his best next season. Like, this was just something that you charged to the game. He just had an off season. He's a young player. I think he'll be better. I think he has to go into the summer thinking not just like I have to get back to last season, but also add facets to his game. Just like Saka does, just like Odegaard does, just like the great player does. Like every great player does that. Like Declan Rice he sat down with Arteta and he had specific things that he wanted to do this season, things that he wanted to add to his game, and then he did that. That's what Martinelli needs to do, and come back next season and be better.
That's all very fair. I suppose the way I want to view it is that if a performance like today's is Gabriel Martinelli's floor moving forward, like when he's not good, this is how he looks, then we can live with that because he's so talented. I mean, like Klopp 3-4 seasons ago called him the talent of the century. Like, back then we were a terrible team and we were terrified that Liverpool would try to steal him from us and all that kind of thing. But thankfully things have worked out the way we wanted them to. I want to do well, this is not unique to any of the pods we've done, but I want to talk about Amadou Onana, Everton's midfielder, number 8. He's somebody that's been linked off and on to Arsenal throughout the season. We're clearly going to have to do some reconstruction in midfield over the summer break. He's a guy that a lot of Arsenal fans seem to like. I saw some good shots for him on the timeline during this game. I saw things that I personally liked. I saw there was a moment where he received the ball. Actually, there were maybe 2 moments where he received the ball, and the way he feinted to get the ball to throw Odegaard that was trying to press him off. That's very impressive because that's a skill that I need a midfielder and a pivot to have. Not all of them have it. You can have a very successful career without it, but if you don't have it, I don't want you at my club. So the fact that he has that kind of raised my eyebrow a little bit, if you smell what the Rock is cooking. However, Mitch, you actually seem to be one of those trolls that likes Onana and would actually want him at the club. I don't. Why do you want him at the club?
I don't know if he's necessarily the first player on my list in terms of midfielders that I want to bring in, but I really like Onana. Granted, I'm not watching Everton every single week, but every single time that I've seen
him. Lucky you, man. That can't be fun. Yeah, that cannot be fun.
every time I watch him, it's a lot of what you just said. He's a pretty press resistant player on the ball, and then he's also just he's a fucking huge dude. He's a physical presence, and having that kind of player that is has that kind of finesse on the ball, but also is a physical beast, throwing him next to Declan Rice, is only going to be successful in my mind. If for some reason, if we do sign him, I don't see him not being successful in this setup. I don't know if I've seen enough from him, in terms of progressive passing or anything like that. But it just in terms of his physical profile and stuff like that, I don't know how you wouldn't be a fan of him as a player.
Oh, Gabby, I don't know if you're as much of a WWE fan as Mitch seems to be, but you're more on my side of this discussion. So let us know why he shouldn't be at Arsenal, why we shouldn't spend however much it is.
He's the least Arsenal player I've ever seen. He just... you know what he reminds me of, actually? He gives false prophet, I before that we started this pod, I said he gives false prophet like Coquelin, but he actually gives false prophet like Basuma. That's who he reminds me of a little bit. The way that Basuma used to play for Brighton and how people overhyped him a little bit, and then he went to Spurs and then fell off a cliff. I don't know what happened over there. Spurs, he got in his blood. I don't know, got in his veins. But it just, that's what it's giving. I just don't think he would be, Onana's not the person to elevate this team. This team's ceiling is very, very high, and I just feel like he would be our floor, if lower than our floor, even. I personally, what I need in a midfielder right now is we need some more creativity. That's what we need, genuinely. I think you have enough in Declan Rice with who's a 6, and they just re-signed Georgie. I'm fine with that, whatever. But they need somebody to replace Xhaka because they didn't do it last season. They need somebody to replace Xhaka. And Frankie de Jong, and if you're going to talk about feints, Frankie de Jong, I want to run to you. That's who you should be looking at. The Frankie de Jongs, even though I hate that fucking prick, go after Bruno G then. Go after Bruno G then. Don't go for Onana. He is not the guy.
Yeah, I'm not. I feel like I've had a really good streak. My brother happens to listen to this podcast because I force him to. And and I asked him a couple weeks ago, I was like, hey, when was my last bad take? When was the last time I said something that was proven to be very wrong down the line? And he couldn't remember anything. And I'm like, I guess
Wow, look at this guy. He's like, I'm
I mean,
always right.
I'm really the Thanos of predicting nothing. It's fucking awesome. But I
Oh,
say that to say I've never been more sure about not wanting a player. Like I was really sure about Declan Rice when some people weren't sure. I was very sure about him like 2 years before we got him. Onana, I'm so sure that even though I've seen things I like, I just don't think he can do them. I don't think he would fail at Arsenal. But again, I don't think he's an upgrade on what we have. Like if we got rid of 5, hopefully, and whoever and on any, shout out on any. But I just don't feel like we get better with him. Like it's like, okay, we have a body. That's what it feels like.
exactly.
And I feel like Everton is going to charge a minimum of like 50 for him. So I'm just like,
Agreed.
I don't know if that's a 50 million midfielder for Arsenal right now. But if Mikel wants to do it, then it's the best idea ever. That's generally my stance on everything in life at this point. It's like, what would Mikel Arteta think? All right, let's get to the actual game proper. The first chance of consequence, I remember, your boy, Tommy. What's wrong with his head, man? Like, he has a big old head,
What?
big square head.
Why
He
did you
can't
come
score
out
a
to
header for
that?
shit. What the fuck? What the fuck, Gabby?
Why did
Explain
you come
your
out
man.
to say what's wrong with him? You couldn't lead in and be like, damn, he just missed a good chance. No, what's wrong with him?
Hey, listen,
Mind you, he scored later on, but it's all right. It's all right.
yeah, that's for
Listen,
later.
we all miss chances. It's okay. It's okay. We all miss chances. It was a good chance, though. It was a good chance. He just got it all wrong. I shouldn't say he got it all wrong because I hate when people go for headers and they like shoot over or they miss like the net completely. And I know it went around, but like you aim for the far post and hope for the best, I guess. But yeah, this is why defenders shouldn't be in the box. That's why. If you're not Gabrielle, I don't want you in the box.
Fair enough. The next chance that came up was essentially generated by Kai Havertz. He intercepted what looked like a cross. I don't even know what you call it. It was really a dumb pass from an Everton player. I forget which one it was. I just don't get why defenders pass across their box when their opponents.
Yeah, across their own goal.
That's just silly.
It's
And
not
Kai
smart.
intercepts it. I think it went directly to Declan Rice, and he took it on his left foot.
It went to Odegaard, I think, and then it went to Declan Rice.
Then he took it on his left foot. And I admire him for having the confidence to use his weak foot, but making Jordan Pickford look like a competent goalkeeper is really annoying. Mitch,
Listen.
you used to be in goal once upon a time. Do we like Jordan Pickford or not? Like, where are we on him? Is he really good?
Pickford's really good.
I don't know. Like, I can't get past the memes. The memes have ruined my brain.
You're like Tozen's gonna post the tiny arms picture, and you're like that's gonna like alter your brain chemistry about Jordan Pickford. But don't let that fool you. Jordan Pickford is a very, very good goalkeeper. There's a very good reason why Southgate does not drop him, and it's because he's very good.
Don't do that. Don't put it on Southgate logic, not the West Coast logic.
Listen, all 3 of us on this pod right now are better football managers than Gareth Southgate, Mitch, okay? You have some fucking confidence in yourself, brother. You are better than him.
I'll say that Pickford's a very traditional goalkeeper. Like when you look at England's goalkeepers, I think someone like Aaron Ramsdale is a little bit flashier because he's better with his feet. Particularly for a team like Everton and for international football. I feel like Pickford's like a really, really good fit for both of those. And his deficiencies of like playing on the back is not really needed at a team like Everton or with England. And so like what he's good at, which is just straight up goalkeeping, you look at almost all statistics, he is a very, very good shot stopper. And he's just a really, really good goalkeeper. Like that is, don't let the tiny arms fool you.
I'll say this much. I often judge players through the prism of would I want them at my club, which isn't fair because my club is really good at football.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair to put Pickford on that because he's not the.
Well, I was going to say,
we have a goalkeeper that plays midfield, like, and that's not Jordan that's not Jordan Pickford, and that's fine.
Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of adjust players for like if they should be picked up by a Big Six club, and I don't think Jordan Pickford would be picked up by a Big Six club, because of his deficiencies. I mean, there was a time where like what 2 seasons ago maybe where there was a time where he was like, oh, might be the best goalkeeper in the league, maybe. I mean, next to Allison, of course, but that's not That's a whole different league right there. But yeah, but I don't know. He lacks too much in what you need to be elite. Like, I don't know. He just like, I know we make fun of like the small hands and the small arms picture and stuff like that, but there are some, and every goalkeeper makes mistakes, obviously, for sure. He keeps Everton in games for sure as well, but Everton has a good defense. They sit deep.
He's the reason they're still in the Premier League. Like they have been in a relegation battle the last few years, but like it needs to be very clear. Everton are a spiritually mid-table club. Like they are a true mid-table team, and that's not a slight on Jordan Pickford. The fact that he's more than likely going to be with Everton for a long time. I don't think, or for longer still than he's already been there. Because Everton's not as bad as as Frank Lampard tanked the reputation of this club, and we can't let that happen because Everton deserves better than that.
You know
I
what?
mean, they've never been relegated, right? One of the only teams next to us. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they've never been relegated. So yeah,
they're Barclays original. We love Everton.
Yeah.
We love Everton because
Barclays.
They always come to the Emirates and lay down for us. So we love Everton. And fuck Goodison Park. That shit is going down. I'm very excited about that because I do not like that place. So the new
I hate that place.
stadium. Big fan.
I know this is irrelevant, but let me just say, if you motherfuckers let Southampton come back up to the Prem, I will fly to England and slap every single one of you. I hate St. Mary's. I never want to see that place again.
Mitch, do you see why we don't cover random leagues on the pod? Because people get so upset about this shit. It's fucking crazy. The next moment of note from this game was Calvert-Lewin. Everton essentially cut through us on the break. I know, Gabby, you have some thoughts on why that's been happening a lot in the last few weeks, but I think it's a yin and yang thing. It's a yin and yang thing. Like, you get a lot of progressive passing, then you got to watch an old dirty Ghanaian run backwards, and it's never good for any of us.
Listen,
he is finished. He is
come
physically
sit with me for a while. Sit with me for a while. I've been on this train for a while. Whatever you guys saw, whatever you guys thought he was, he's not who you thought he was. He's not. That guy is cooked. He cannot run to save his life. And it's absurd to me that Mikel keeps placing Rice as the 8 and him as the 6 instead of the inverse. Rice should always be the last person before the defense, in my opinion. He should always be that. I
agree with you in the fact that I think Rice is like a good 6, but I don't have a problem with Rice playing the 8. I agree though in 5 being physically cooked, and I said this last week, but I'm not sure what Jorginho does worse than him at this current moment, because it used to be like 5 was like more of a physical presence and like physically was better than Jorginho, but like now I'm not even sure that that's the case anymore. So I can't wait for him to be out of the club. Don't let the door hit. Actually, let the door hit you on the way out. Good riddance. Goodbye.
Listen, I feel like Kendrick Lamar when I'm talking about this. I hate the way you talk. I hate the way you walk. I hate the way you dress. Like, that's how I feel that's how I feel when I talk about him, because you're right. Mitch is right. He doesn't do anything better than Jorginho. Doesn't have the physicality. He has the least amount of legs next to Jorginho. Like, his football IQ is lower than Jorginho's, and his passing ability and his passing range is about the same, if not lower. So it's just like, and today, no, don't do that. No.
You can't say his passing range is
about the same. About the same or lower. Yes, it is.
Not having it. I will put.
His man sprays the ball maybe 2 times a game, and you guys want to act like he's got skipped. I refuse.
Them 2 times matter. I feel as if a lot of the people that we really love on the team play a lot better when he's on the field. That's just the way. That's what my eyes tell me. I feel like Odegaard.
Have you felt that in the last few games?
Just generally, I just feel as if in the last few games. Put it this way. Back to something I said about.
That was a yes or no question.
No. Hold on. Put it this way. Back to something I said about 5 minutes ago. I trust Mikel's opinions on this stuff. He sees them in training all the time. You have to earn the right to be on the field. If he thought Jorginho was the better option, Jorginho would be playing. And he's not, because he's not the better option. He's just not. Like, regardless of what you see and what you don't like, the coach has decided that that's a worthy trade-off to have a more fluid team. And that's the way I feel about it. Do I still want him at the club? No. I want him gone. Whether it's on-field or off-field reason, I just want him gone. But I do think he's a better player than Jorginho, and I think we're better in ways with him. I know we get nervous when we see our team running backwards because it's just not something we're used to anymore. But it's the Premier League. Other teams have good players. Shit gonna happen. And that's what led to Calvert-Lewin hitting our bar and getting a rebound that almost led to a very, very bad, I guess, start to the game. That was maybe like 20 minutes into him at that point. But the next time it happened, Five did make what in real time felt like a mistake, but you could argue that it was what he was supposed to do. You know, you stop a run when someone is running at your defender. You're supposed to protect your defenders. So he stops a run. He trips McNeil up. Gaya steps up for the free kick. Rice deflects it into the net. Are there any criticisms, Mitch, for the players for that goal? Where was the mistake? Who do you blame there?
Well, I mean, the easy one is the guy who gave up the free kick, but I also see the other side of like, yeah, you're 6, you're supposed to protect your defense. So whatever, we'll call that a toss up. The wall did what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to jump and hit the ball. Raya saw the ball hit going one way, and then it took a crazy deflection the other way, and it also pretty much went upper 90 off of Rice's head. So even if Raya went the right way, not much he could do about that. I will say that, I cannot believe that Everton put Gay and Ashley Young behind a free kick, and they fucking scored.
They don't rate us. They don't rate us. Hey, Gabby, Gabby, I have a riddle for you real quick. Do you think the ball would have gone in if it hit Tomiyasu's head?
You're so nasty for that. You're so. If I just left this call right now.
Hey, listen, I just what happened is that I watched Godzilla -1 like 3 times last week, so I'm just in a weird place mentally, you know. That's all it is.
Oh my god!
It's what Dune was for me, for you.
Actually, I don't have the attention span to sit through a movie. That was a lie. I'm sorry, but you get the point. But yeah, that was I guess, did it change your mood though? Like, because we went down 1, City were up 2 at the time based on the inserts from NBC. And this is a good point to talk about NBC and what they did. But first, did it change your mood, Gabby, that they scored a goal? Did you think, oh, fuck, here we go again?
No, which is very indicative of what Mikel Arteta is doing to this club and to me. I always thought we were going to win this game. I was hoping that we didn't concede. But we always seem to concede at home. We do bullshit at home. So
I don't get it.
You know, it's whatever. We keep clean sheets away from home, but we cannot do it at home for some reason. So yeah, it honestly didn't really change my mood. I was like, I always expect us to win. I hope they score again fast though. Which they did. They scored again before halftime. So
which we did indeed. Tomiyasu converted from the Odegaard zone. I don't know. Why wouldn't he just do what he's supposed to? You know, like head the ball. You know, like why is he doing all this other shit?
He's a better finisher with his feet. You know,
no, I sound like a hater for pointing out the obvious. Like, yeah, like
better finisher with his feet.
Mitch, what'd you make of the finish? He's saying he's a better finisher with his feet. What'd you make of it? Was it?
One of my favorite like genres of goals is like that cut back into the like low finish from outside the 18. I love that finish. It's great.
The evil Pep has done. That is the evil Pep has done to
my
all
I just think it's like aesthetically a pleasing goal, you know? Really I like it. Yeah. Every single thing I say is wrong according to you guys. What the fuck is going on?
Well, here's the thing about you, Mitch. You speak like Tomiyasu heads the ball.
Oh my god. Enough, we will never know peace.
I figure if I keep picking on Tomiyasu, it'll distract us from the fact that we're not title winners, you know. But that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're here to talk about. Yeah, I think it was a good response because I didn't want to wallow in the mire of fuck, we're down and we're, you know, like, because I wasn't really expecting us to win the league, you know, based on everything that was going on away from the stadium. But speaking of the things that were going on away from the stadium, NBC made quite a habit. They're a broadcaster, so it's their job to do this. I think I get it on that level, but like cutting in inserts to show me what's happening at the other ground while I'm watching the Arsenal game, like it's 2024. Like I have a cell phone, I have an iPad, I have a TV, I have a laptop. If I want to monitor that, I can do that on my own. I don't need NBC to do that for me. Mitch, you seem restless about what I'm saying. Why?
Yeah, because it's like the whole point of having all the games happen at once in the last day is just like
Then shit,
having all of them.
show me some loot and shit then. They
Then I'm
scored a
not
lot
gonna
of
watch Goal
goals.
Zone.
That
Like,
doesn't matter. For like they're showing something that is applicable. Like we needed a result to happen in the City game. So it is updating the people watching the Arsenal game what is happening in the City game. Yeah, you can check your phone, check the score, but also it's their job as a broadcaster, and it's like you're telling a story, right, on the last day. Like, oh, Arsenal needs this to happen, and this is what's happening in the other game where there's a direct thing. Like, it would be insane if they like acted like it wasn't happening. Like, because
well, my
there's
thing is,
They
the
act like they're not
context is so
115
important.
charges, Mitch. Like, can't they just act like nothing is happening at the City game? Like, what? Like,
Dean
I
just
don't
wanted to be in
care.
denial. He didn't want to hear from us.
Like for real, I just didn't want to see that shit because we all knew what was going to happen. City
One
literally
thing I-
scored 2 goals in 10 minutes.
No, I
Yeah,
know.
it was done.
One thing that did piss me off about this, though, is at the end of the game, they're like showing the Arsenal players, and then they went into the double box and started just playing the commentary from City celebrating the title. And I'm like, that I have a problem with. That I don't want to fucking see. Everyone that's watching USA is either an Everton or an Arsenal fan, and so like, oh, let's show City winning the league. No one who was watching that channel wanted to see that. Everyone who wanted to see that was watching that channel. Like, insane decision to be like, oh, you're sad? You want to see all the Arsenal players crying in one corner? Here's all the City players celebrating in the other corner. Fuck you, USA. What the hell is that?
Listen, I'm not a broadcaster, but if they were going to, like, fine, I'm okay with them updating us on this stuff. Whatever. But update us through commentary of the people who are already commenting on this game. Because they get live updates anyway. You do not need to cut it away from our game to show me what's happening in that game. I do not need to actually see it. Just tell me they're 1-0 up. 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, the other part was that the commentator for our game would mention what was going on. They'd show the box, we'd see it. Then Rebecca Lowe would then speak as well. It's like, God damn, like we get the idea City are not going to lose today. That's what we thought was going to fucking happen for the game anyway, you know? So I just found it very irritating, personally.
I mean, I will say, just in terms of like what was happening after Tommy scores is right after Tommy scores. So it's 1-1 in our game. Kudus scores a bicycle kick, and then all of a sudden West Ham were like kind of back in the game, and a glimmer of hope returned for me.
Kind of.
I love what you said, for me,
okay.
not for us. For
Jesus
me.
fucking Christ! Like I'm sorry for being hopeful about what the fuck.
I appreciate you trying to inject drama into this podcast, Mitch, but we
there
both
wasn't drama. I'm just saying.
Did you really think that? You really thought that?
I had to. What am I? How am I not?
See. Okay, this is my thing. I'm gonna go off on a little bit of tangent because I've been seeing this all week about this game. This game and the Spurs game. A lot of people were online saying, if you don't believe that Arsenal can do it, then what's the point? I was like, I'm not playing. I'm not the one playing on the pitch. I don't have to believe it. Prove me wrong then. Like, what? What do you mean? We know what's gonna happen. It's okay. I've made peace with it. I'm not gonna be upset.
I think it's just the type of sports fan that I am. Like, if there's a chance, like, I gotta like try to believe that something good is gonna happen. Like, I mean, it's pretty fucking clear about every single thing about me that I'm an optimist about Arsenal. So like, if there's like a glimmer of hope, there's going to be a part of my mind that's like, oh, maybe we can do it. Wilder things have happened in the Premier League. Like, I'm not saying like you're not a real fan if you didn't believe. Like, I just, the way that I operate as a fan is that like I want to believe that we can do it, even when it's not in our hands and we're going up against a team like City. So like, yes. You can believe whatever you want. You could have tapped out a month ago. I don't fucking care. I had like a glimmer of hope, and that's what matters to me, because like I want to have hope about this.
I appreciate that,
because there will be negative Nancy's the whole time.
Yeah, I think we're all optimists on some level.
You
It
have to
just
be
so
to watch
happens that
sport.
when the glimmer of hope is out of my team's hands, then I'm not as optimistic. I can admit that. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Like, and when the glimmer of hope is in the hands of confirmed cheating ass motherfuckers that we just act as if the shit ain't going on, I'm just like, But the goal itself, the Kudus goal, I was like, you know what? I'm not mad at you guys cutting in for that. That was a hell of a finish. Like, I don't know, did you see that, Gabby?
Yeah, I did. I did see
Yeah.
that. Somebody said I don't agree with this, but somebody said it was better than Garnacho's, and I said you guys went a little bit too far. But in the terms of the title race and everything, it would have been narrative wise.
You know what? I'm okay with that because I don't like that Garnacho kid.
You're
He
gonna
looks
say
like he
that.
would have been a Nazi. He definitely looks like it.
Oh my god.
And if that means taking something away from him, because I know they're going to give him goal of the season, and I don't really, I'm just not that impressed by bicycle kicks. I'm just not. Like, they're
Oh, so you're
great.
just a hater of the game.
You
Okay.
and your
Maybe I'm a
4
hater of that
ACLs
particular
could
thing.
never.
Well, here's the thing about a bicycle kick. Well, let me put it this way. I'm long beyond my physical prime, but if I remember doing it myself, I'm not that impressed by it. That's basically what it is for me. Like, it's not that hard. Trust me. Once you do it once, it's not that hard. But let's move on.
Oh
There was
my
a game we were
god.
watching. That Gabriel Magalhaes incident that lets him leave in the field, like, how serious do we think that is? Because I didn't expect him to be holding his shoulder after that coming together with Decore.
He was in a sling after the game.
Yeah.
So clearly it's not nothing. But hopefully it's precautionary and he's not out of Copa America, because that would really suck, because that's just such a great opportunity for him to represent his country in Copa.
Yeah, when they said he was in a sling and after the game, I was like, damn, it was worse injury than I thought it was. If you put him in a sling, like he just like, and Gabriel doesn't like, he's a manly man. Like he wasn't going off for no reason. Like him, the way he hit the ground, it just looked innocuous. Like, and then when he sat down, like he needed to come off, I was like, oh, he's actually like hurt for real. Like I was genuinely surprised that he came off because I just wasn't expecting it. And it looked like he was genuinely in pain. Like however he dislocated his shoulder or hurt his shoulder or whatever he did to it, like he might genuinely be out for a few weeks, which would really suck. I mean, not for us because he'll be back for next season, but it would suck for Brazil.
I will say with the sub that happened because of it, it was interesting that Zinchenko came on for him and Tommy moved inside. I imagine, because like a 1-to-1 sub would be Kivior, obviously, but I imagine that this sub was made because Arteta was planning to bring Zinchenko on anyway, because we're trying to get a goal and he's a little bit more of an attacking-minded fullback, and was probably planning on taking Tomiyasu off or something like that, or Ben White off, and because of Gabriel getting hurt, it's like, okay, well, I'll just shift Tomiyasu over to left center back, who we actually haven't seen him play there for Arsenal. It was
His
nice to see him play there.
I know, it's crazy.
He did well. I like nothing to complain about from that little 30 minutes that we saw of him playing center back.
Yeah, I still kind of believe that if he didn't get hurt in the same game as Saliba in the Europa League last season, maybe we do it last season, maybe, but we didn't do it this season. So that's neither here nor there. Let's forget about that part. I did like the sub. I'm glad you mentioned it, Mitch, because I was going to have you guys talk about that. I thought it was just a clever use of resources. It's why I like the sort of players that we tend to target in the market, people that are flexible, that can play multiple positions. And Tomiyasu is so great because he's not even left-footed. And he spends so much time on that half of the pitch. Like, he's a left center back for Japan. That's his primary position for them. And he's not left-footed. It's amazing. Like, I love that guy. But on subs, ESR came on, which I found to be very exciting. And I thought he had a good cameo. Gabby, what'd you make of it?
Arteta was very much giving people here nigga damn minutes, and it was very funny to me because he was like, this is your last game. Like, I did not expect ESR to come on at all. Like, that was genuinely a surprise for me. And I was just like, I don't hate this. Like, I don't hate this. Like, let's just go and get the second goal so we can get the win. And when ESR came on, he was lively as always. And he hit the bar, which he always he's always so close to scoring, but like never gets his goal. Which is frustrating.
so much on XG that one season where he scored a bunch of goals. So now he's just like taken the nastiest reversion to the mean of all time. Of just like you are never scoring again.
Literally, I was like, this guy's not gonna score until he leaves us, which is so sad. Like, hate that for him.
Do you think he's leaving this summer?
I do.
I don't know.
I've been saying for months, I think one of him, between him and Fabio will leave, and because Fabio is technically a Mikel Arteta signing, I think Fabio is going to stay, and Emil's going to leave, and they're going to fill up that 10 spot.
I don't want to talk about that.
I just do. I don't know. I can't see him staying another season. I just can't.
Yeah, it
needs
wouldn't
to
be
play.
good for his development, I feel like, if he stayed another season, because I just don't see where the minutes are coming from. But I do feel as if he managed to get minutes at Arsenal, it could still happen for him at the club.
Yeah.
We didn't give him that number 10 for no reason. He's a very good player. Let's
Agreed.
get to a happier substitution. Urian Timber came on for what was I don't even know what you call that. I knew it was going to happen in my heart of hearts. You know, like when the rumors started earlier this year that he's ahead of schedule in his rehab and he's going to play and we might see him in the champ. I knew he wasn't playing any actual games of consequence. But today he came on for Ben White, who had one of his worst games of the season. By the way, he looked like number 5. I thought Ben White did.
I don't know if he looked like 5, but he genuinely looks like he needs that surgery. He's been carrying whatever he's been carrying all season. He needs to rest in the summer to get the surgery and like be out the first month or two in next season and just relax because he was way off the boil today. And it wasn't just like physically he was off the boil. Like mentally, you could tell like he was mishitting balls and just like his passes were going astray. It was just like, yeah, Ben, you need to sit for a while. Like you look tired, like ragged,
and he looked grumpy. He just didn't look like he was done. He was like, when is this shit over, man? Like, I know City is going to win. Like, get me back to the bench. I'm done. I need to go 10. Yeah. Mitch, I felt like we glossed past Timber too quickly there. What did you make of what you saw?
It's just great to have him back. I'm interested that he came on at right back because I don't know. I'm curious about where he's gonna fit next season. I still do think that he's probably our left back next year. But you know, I think that also he's someone like Tomiyasu where we could play him anywhere. Like he played center back for Ajax. Like we can literally play him in any position. I think we could play him at the fucking 6. Like
glad you said that. Stop right there.
Oh,
because I haven't had the time. So generally before I bust out these takes that are never wrong on the podcast, I workshop them in the group chat with Coach. Then when I say I was going to have this conversation with him, but we had to record this. And I was going to say, you know what? If Timber was like 2 inches taller, he'd probably just be a center back. But if he was 2 inches taller, I would love to try him at the 6. I think he has everything you need to be a 6. Like, especially those feints and swerves he does.
Yeah,
like,
he turns with the ball very well.
He's such a beautiful player, and he's going to be my reason why we didn't win the title. If he was healthy all season,
I'll have an argument with you.
On Cruyff, I'm telling you, man. Like on Cruyff, because Cruyff is the true god of the sport. Like he may not have won as much as anybody, or what, he is the god of the sport. Pep will tell you that if he wasn't stealing, but he's always stealing, so he can't tell us that. Anyway, David Raya, lovely save that would be forgotten. A save. DCL cut in on Saliba, who that never happens, by the way. But you know what? Let's just move on. Let's pretend it didn't happen. But great save by David Raya. Like he held the ball. That's unusual. Keepers usually punch that, Mitch. You're an ex-goalkeeper. Why did that happen?
Well, I mean, you want to catch it. Like that's the idea. But like it's just hard to do that while you're in the air. So it's really impressive that he was able to do it. And then you break the fall with the ball. It was a great catch, great save, good stuff.
It was a great catch.
Yeah, Havertz had a number of headers in this game. One of them hit the post from a Gabby Martinelli cross. And
that one made me sad.
Yeah, I keep talking because I'm trying to find a way to shit on Tomiyasu again, but I'm out. I ran out.
Leave my boy alone. Just allow him. His season is done. He can rest.
But yeah, at this stage of the game, we're getting to the point where I was like, even though it doesn't matter because we're not gonna win the league either way, because City are now up 3-1 by the stage of the game because Roger had put them 3-1 ahead. I was like, can we at least win this game? And it was beginning to feel like one of those games where we just weren't gonna do it because I can think of after the Havertz header, there was a chance where Odegaard from his zone should have converted, one touch, I thought, but he kind of dallied with the ball a little bit. Gabby, you had some thoughts on why our finishing, even though we scored the most goals in the league this season, why our finishing hasn't been where it needs to be this season.
These guys, the Arsenal gene where you overcomplicate and try to look for the perfect pass and the perfect shot and the perfect goal. They need to practice on hitting it first time. Number one, practice on hitting the ball first time. But they just like I said, they just overcomplicate. They just overcomplicate everything, and they have this bad habit of shooting wild shots outside the box, but not shooting when they're in the box in good opportunities. They want to make that extra pass like this is basketball and kick it out. Relax. I don't understand why they do this. I genuinely do not. Odegaard scored. We call it the Odegaard zone for a reason. The way that Tommy scored, he hit it first time. Just do that. Just do that more often and we would score more often. But you guys want to do nonsense. And the chances in the first half and the second half that Kai had, headers off target. And I think he had a couple shots that were just tame, weak. And I was just like, can we just hit through the ball? Don't side foot it into his hands. Hit through the ball. So he has to parry it out at bare minimum. You know what I mean? They frustrate me. That's the one thing that frustrates me about our attack. Genuinely.
Yeah, Mitch, back to ESR underperforming his XG. He actually hit one through the ball, but it went into the ground and hit the post. So I hope we get to see him score another goal. Whether he leaves or not, if he leaves, I hope it's one of those things where he leaves after, how the transfer window closes after the season begins. I hope he has scored a goal to add on to the price before he goes, because I need an ESR goal in my life. Did he score this season at all? There was one game, right? Was it a Brentford game where he got an assist or something?
That one.
He got an assist
but he hasn't scored a goal. And he's had many a chance to score.
I knew something was wrong with me. I knew there was a reason something wrong with me. All right, we'll do the goal, then we'll get out of here. Gabby Jesus came on, which was welcome because Trossard was fucking shit today, respectfully. Sorry, Anne Hathaway. He was so bad today. It was I've never noticed how short his legs were until today. I was like, bro,
he could not run today.
Run away from people. You can't. You just can't. But yeah, he was a welcome sub. Gabby Jesus came on and he did some bullshit, recovered from the bullshit, which I appreciated. I love when a striker tracks back to rectify their own error. But Mitch, there was a long VAR check on the goal. Did you think they were going to chalk it off for a handball?
I was really hoping not. I don't think it's under the rules of the sleeve being the cutoff line for the handball. I guess it's a handball, but I really think the biggest thing for a handball is whether it's out from your body, and it wasn't. The commentators were mad that the goal stood, and they're he leans into his arm. He doesn't. His arm is by his side. It hits him lower. It hits his arm 100%. But if he has his arm up and it hits his chest, it does the same. The side of his body, it does the same exact thing. He's not gaining any advantage by having his arm right there. If he has his arm out and it hits him, 100% handball. Call the goal back. But if they called the goal back for that, that'd have been really, really dumb. A great interception from him, bad pass from Ashley Young. Odegaard should have probably finished, but Kai's there. Good goal by him, but man, you would have thought that we just scored the scoreline was 5-1. The way he didn't celebrate that goal.
Listen, that boy wanted to win bad.
Yeah,
the way he hit the post before. The way he kicked the post when he missed that header before, I could tell he was just we're not gonna win the league. He knew. He was just whatever has happened in that City game, he felt that. I was yeah, it's weighing on him.
Also, Kai, 20 Premier League goals and assists in his first season as an Arsenal player. I mean, obviously, I don't need to convince either of you. You guys are both Kai Havertz fans, but we can't say anything other than Kai Havertz being a successful first season at Arsenal.
Springverts. It ain't Marchverts. It ain't Aprilverts. It's Springverts. He did the whole shit.
The whole thing, the whole run-in. Man showed up the whole entire run-in. I said, and that's all I wanted from you. Shout out to my boy. Played half his games in midfield. Yeah. We will never be back next season.
We will never forget, and we will be back, and I only expect him to get better with a full season and, having been comfortable at the club and all that stuff. So I'm pretty excited for the future. And that's your cue, Mitch. I don't know exactly what question I asked because there's just so much to talk about as far as the future of the club goes. But I think anyone that's listening to this can tell that we've all had a bit of we're all disappointed today, obviously. But I think there's a bit of an optimistic tone to this anyway, because one, we're not shocked at the outcome. We knew that this could happen and we've made our peace. However, it's hard not to look into the future and think, you know what? Even though there was a lot of last season, there was a lot of, well, this was your chance and you didn't take it, so you're going to fall back to the rest of the pack now. No one can say that anymore. Everyone knows that we're here. We may not have the silverware yet, but we're here. Mitch, you're not going to be around for the season sort of review when we do it midweek. So I would like to take this opportunity to give us a bit of your thoughts on the season as a whole, how you've enjoyed the evolution of the team, and what you hope for moving into the future.
For sure. I think a frustrating thing for me is it just feels so far away. Like, it feels like the Premier League season is so long, and we've come all this way. We've come all the way to the final day, and we came up short. And I think that's really disappointing. And to think about a year from now being the time when we finally do it is also disappointing. And because we failed to do it in 2 straight years, you are going to see the most disingenuous takes from rival fans. And all I can say is to not give them anything, because you can accomplish everything and rival fans will never give you any respect for anything. So you cannot take their ideas as serious. They're going to say, oh, you drew 0-0 at the Etihad and that's why you lost the league. That's a disingenuous take. We got 4 points away from City this season. Could not be more successful in that department. You're going to see a lot of these disingenuous takes. But what we have to know is that this season was fucking awesome. And it is exactly where we want to be. It was not too long ago. I kept seeing screenshots today from like 3 years ago where we're like, hey, we're mathematically going to finish ahead of Brighton in 14th. Like,
it's crazy. I was seeing those too.
Like, we were in the trenches not too long ago. So, like, the fact that we are now, like, competing for titles is where we want to be. This is, and this team is so young and so good. We're not going anywhere. I've said, like, I was, I guess, on Shades of Blue a couple weeks ago, and I said, like, if we don't win the league, like, it's going to be disappointing, but I think we win 5 titles in the next 15 years. Like, I fully think that. And we will see Arsenal win silverware. I would love to see that. It's going to be, like,
the optimist.
There's going to be...
I love it, Mitch. I love it.
5 titles in the next 15 years? Woo! I hope I'm allowed to see them all.
There's going to be a lot of, like, takes of, like, oh, Arsenal didn't win a trophy last 2 years, so therefore they're not good. I think that is a bad way to view the sport. in most sport, soccer is a very rare sport in the regards of more than one team can win trophies within a season. And everything is so wrapped up around that I think it ruins people's perceptions of things, where you can enjoy things even if you didn't ultimately win it. Like, it's a really miserable way to enjoy sports if you aren't able to look at the positives of things. I mean, that's why I'm such an optimist, because if I'm dooming about this, that's not healthy for me. That's not healthy for anyone. Like, the amount of people that, like, I like and respect that I've had to, like, mute on Twitter because of the amount of, like, fucking dooming and negativity is just like, all right, well, you can be a fan however you want to be a fan, but, like, I don't know how you can view this season in the wider context of things as anything but good for Arsenal. Yeah, we came up short, and that sucks. It's not good. But like we're going in the direction we want to go. This team is great. This team is likable and fun. And it's exactly where we want to be. And we will win the title next year. Granted, I said it all this season that we were going to win the title, but we're going to win the title next year. I'm absolutely sure of it.
You know what, Mitch? I love everything you said there. And when you said we're going to win the title this season, I didn't believe you, but I believe you now. I definitely believe you now. Like it just nothing is ever guaranteed or nailed on in this life, but come on, like you got to be blind if you're denying Arsenal at this stage. Gabby, I want you to wrap this up in a bow for us before we get out of here. If you're a professor of football, like Arsene Wenger was or is, what grade are you giving the season?
An A. I'm giving an A.
Mitch,
an A minus.
A minus. Okay,
Yeah.
Mitch, what do you have? A minus. A minus. All right, cool. On that note, guys, thank you for joining me yet again. It's been a wonderful season. I've enjoyed your company very much. I know you guys think you have the summer off, but you don't because there are going to be tournaments and you motherfuckers watch soccer. And if you watch any of those games, you're going to have to talk about them. So the only way you get out of this shit is to not watch the games. But you should watch the games so you get on the pod. In any event, guys, thanks for listening to the pod all season with us. We will come back to you midweek or next weekend with a larger season review that should feature a guest that we're not going to mention yet. But until then, it's been wonderful. Folks, you know what to tell the people.
Hey, shout out to Pauly, won the second Bundesliga. Let's go. Hey, peace.
Granted, Jack, I want to run to you. Shout out to Leverkusen.
I go away for 1 week and you guys lose all your fucking training. Anyway, people, it's been a wonderful season. Peace.
Take your shirt off. Take your shirt off.